Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
We're on the record now.
Okay.
okay. Mr. Harris, are you here by yourself?
I'm the attorney for Mr. Michael Alexander, who's the owner of the property that's at
It-
2612.
Is Michael here?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
here.
All right, okay, Michael, how you doing? Michael, if you're gonna testify in the
All right,
case,
good morning.
could you please raise your right hand? Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Aren't we hearing 2230?
I do.
first?
Yes, that's what I'm going to say. Island Avenue is first. 2230.
Yeah, other than.
2230, right?
2230 is first.
Okay.
I'm here for 2230 Island Avenue, and Jim Campanella, the owner's on.
Okay. All
Joe
right,
Joe Catuzzi should be on, but I don't see him here.
all right, so are you ready to start?
I'm ready.
Deborah, is there a Joe Catuzzi in the waiting room or anybody in the waiting room?
No one else is in the waiting room. I just,
You want to take Harris's case first, and I'll see if I can get Joe on then, the attorney for Jim.
Sure, no problem, no
now
problem.
there was also an attorney on record, the William Sasso.
Yeah,
was,
Joe
Sasso.
Catuzzi,
okay. All right. Well, you try to reach out to them and then we'll take number 2 first.
All right, thanks.
You're
No,
welcome,
we're-
Rustin.
Thanks a lot,
no,
Russ.
So we're gonna do 2612 North 17th Street first.
Okay, 2612 North 17th.
Everybody's here for that case, so we'll do that one first.
Okay, now who's here for that case?
Michael Alexander and Jermaine Harris, the attorney.
Okay, Michael, I asked you, I swear you in, please raise your right hand, swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Michael, please respond.
I do.
Okay, we don't have to swear in an attorney. All right, Phil, could you read that into the record, please?
Yes, sir. This is case number 2 on today's list. MI 2023-003-519 for the property located at 2612 North 17th Street. The appellant is Jermaine Harris Esquire. He's present in the room today.
Okay. That's good. Okay, Victor, could you tell us a little bit about this project?
Well,
Wayne.
Wayne, we have to introduce everybody.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. You have to bear with me, guys. It's been nuts today. Okay. Introduce yourself.
You're first.
Collins, licenses.
I'm Wayne Miller, board member.
Amy Rivera, board member.
Ted Agus, board member.
Deborah Richardson, Boards Administration.
Philip Motto, Boards Administration.
Jay Scoria, Department of License and Inspections.
Okay, Phil, you already read it into the record?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so, Victor, tell us a little bit about the case, please.
Okay, so where we are, this is going to be a simple thing right here. We have a ID fire, which we posted on 5/16/23. We spoke last week asking for a permit in 30 days, but we didn't get an answer. But that's where we stand right now.
That's 16th Street. That's not on now.
No, we changed. I'm sorry. That was my fault. Listen, but anyway, we want 30 days. We're giving them 30 days to get a permit or we moving forward.
Is this job, to make safe or is it imminently
It's
dangerous?
ID property. So we're giving them 30 days to get a permit in the system. If the permit is not in the system, we're moving forward. And we're going to ask for a complete demo.
Okay, all right, fine. Whoever gonna do the, Mr. Harris or Mr. Alexander, whoever's gonna, tell your part of the case, please do it.
Yeah, so, yes, I did have a conversation with the inspector. And my client I spoke with him, Mr. Alexander, this morning. It's my understanding that a structural engineer has been hired to, and he has submitted the report to the architect, stamp report to the architect, and the architect now is in the process of finalizing plans so that way a stamp plans can be submitted to for a permit. My client has retained a contractor, so we're just waiting on the final stamp plans for the contractors to submit to correct the violations with this particular. So 30 days from today should be enough time for
Okay,
it to be in the system. And hopefully for this to move forward quickly without further delay.
good deal. That's
Wayne,
good.
as part of this case, can you swear Victor in? Victor needs to be sworn in.
Yes,
as
I'm
well.
sorry. Victor, please raise your right hand. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
I do.
Okay, all right. All right, so 30 days to get the permit and get rolling and we're good. Everybody fine with that?
I'm good with it.
Okay,
Over that.
And
Good luck,
just, and,
everybody.
and just before we leave, I just wanted to make sure, as long as the application is in the system, then within the 30 days, that should be sufficient, because I know that sometimes, a lot of times, these examiners, they have corrections and what have you. So long as the application is in within the 30 days, and that's fine, correct?
Correct.
Victor, this is intimately dangerous. What does he have to do as soon as he gets the application?
Long as just like he said, as long as it's in the system within 30 days, we're fine with it.
All right, so
Okay.
they have to have applied within 30 days.
Yeah, he had to have at least in the
Yep.
system and being under review. If not, we moving forward.
Okay,
All
good
right.
deal. All
Now,
right, Mr. Harris?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay,
Maybe,
good luck,
may we
guys.
be, oh, thank you.
Okay. All right. That one's down.
I think everyone's here for the first case, which is 2230 Island Avenue.
Okay,
Austin, Joseph, are you here for that? Okay, and then,
And Jim
Mr.
Campanella is the
Campanella.
owner, yeah.
I'm sorry,
Yeah, you're correct. Jim Campanella is the owner, yeah.
Jim Campanella. Okay, so all three
And-
people are here for the next case when you're ready. And Jace has the packet with the pictures and stuff to share if we need be.
okay, hold it. Is everybody here for this case?
Yes.
Okay, it's Rustin, it's James Capanella,
Yes.
and who else?
Joe
Joe.
Catuzzi from
Yeah.
Stradley Road.
Oh, Charlie, okay. Whoever's gonna testify in this case, please raise your, I'm gonna do it individually. So, we'll take you first, all right? Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Right.
Respond,
Yes.
okay? All right, the next guy, Capanella, you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, who's the next guy? One more.
He's an attorney.
Joe's a
Attorneys
lawyer.
don't have to swear, they always tell the truth.
All right, so I didn't do it. So Joe did it. So swear.
Oh, it's Rustin, you ain't an attorney. Rustin, you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, could you read that in, all right. Could you read that into the record?
Yes, sir. This is case number 1 on today's list, MI 2023-003-521 for the property located at 2230 Island Avenue. James Campanella Senior is the appellant. He's present in the room.
Okay, I'm Wayne Miller, the board member.
Amy Rivera, board member.
Ed Agus, board member.
Deborah Richardson, Boards Administration.
Philip Otto, Boards Administration.
Inspections.
Jay Scariah, Department of License and Inspections.
Victor, state your name for the record, please.
Victor Collins, once again, licenses and inspections.
Okay, Victor, please raise your right hand, swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, tell us a little bit about this case.
Well, this is, this case here was, ID'd on 5/12/2023. Spoke to Joe on 6/15. He agreed to 30 days to have permit under review.
Okay,
And the department is fine with that, long as long as his permit is, within the system, within 30 days. We're fine with that. If not, if it's not in the system within 30 days, we're moving on to the next step.
what would be the next step?
Demolition.
Okay,
Can
Joe,
we
are
see
you
the
good with
packet?
that?
Well, can we talk about that briefly?
Okay, let's hear.
And can we
yeah,
see
go
the
ahead.
photos so we have an understanding of what this building looks like?
I have an engineer's report if you want me to share it.
Sure.
Jace. I don't,
which I think Jace has, or Jace, if you want to share that.
Yep, I'll share.
Okay.
Jace has the L and I packet, but if you have
All right.
something else, you can share as well, Rustin.
I do. I have a engineer's report that walks through the same stuff, but we can look at Jace's photos first.
I'll go through
All
the
right, Rustin.
photos. Can you guys see my screen?
yes.
Yes.
So this is the summary report. Victor, do you want to give a description of this or?
Okay, hold on, all right, so. Let me see, in this one, as you see in the bottom, well, you can see in the front how, this building here is structurally, is not structurally sound. Look at the bottom picture. You can see straight through the roof. That's why you see the tree sticking up through there. If you go to the next one. Okay, here's another close-up. You look at the bottom one, you can see where the roof is gone. And once again, you see total daylight looking up through there. The picture up front is just, the picture above that is just showing the wall, how some of the material, how some of the roof is falling in. Seeing that the bottom picture on the top picture, the bottom window. That's where it fell, that's where it caved in at. Next picture. This is a picture we just took of getting the whole building with itself within the picture, so you can get a view standing back. As you can see where these light spots are, that's because there's no roof there. And it's just, you can see it's just gone. It's just everything with the within the roof line is gone. Next picture. This is a picture of the side wall, which has a little bulge right there where the green, with his, I don't know what is a drain pipe or whatever, I'm not, right here. If you put your, you can see it's like a little bulge
there?
right here.
Yeah.
Move it up just a little bit to your left and down. And down.
I see the vertical drain spout.
So that's just another picture of getting for the view for a court. So we just got a view of that side wall. If you go to the next picture, this photo right here is, let me see. This is this is like the rear of the building. This doesn't show much because of the greenery. Next picture. This is part of the property right here. This picture's right here. They're just part of the property. You can move on. You can let me see. I'm gonna get mainly to the building here.
I think we get an idea of
Yeah.
the condition of the building.
Okay.
We don't have to view the rest of it.
All right.
Okay, Rustin,
Sure.
tell your story.
Yeah, so all right, so there's the structural report. So we immediately, when Jim notified us, we've been working on this building with Jim for a while. We're going through a development process. I've been in the building. When the violations were filed, we immediately had a structural engineer go out to the building and provide a report with some recommended repairs. We tried to file that report. We can't do it online, right? So we have to make an appointment, go down, do it in person. Tried to immediately file the report. Jim's team was ready to start making the repairs. L&I had rejected the application and asked it for detailed structural engineer drawings. So we are actively working on that. I guess my concern is the 30-day window. They're scheduled to deliver those up to us like just before the end of that, and then we have to schedule an appointment, get online to accept it, get it into the system. So it's just really tight. So maybe a little breathing room of like 45 days or so. I would ask for, if you could see in the report under the description at the end of it, the bottom of page 3, it says, based on the field inspections, our engineering judgments concluded the overall building structure is in stable condition. The roof is missing. It's been missing for some time, but the building itself is not in imminent danger of collapse or going anywhere. The repairs are recommended just for the ongoing life and structural stability of the building. It should have violations for not having a roof and having some open windows. but it's not in imminent danger of collapse. It's also in the middle of a gated fence closed off site. It's not surrounding any public right of way. There's no near neighbors or anything that this building could possibly fall on. So I guess Jim's committed to trying to do this in 30 days. I guess what I'm asking for is a 45-day window. We have a little buffer. So we can-
Rustin, what takes the time? What it is, you have to make
So we're-
appointments and things like that? What's?
Yeah, so we tried to file this right away to get a permit, but L&I wouldn't accept it. They want drawings. So we're having the building surveyed. We're preparing a detailed set of drawings for the repairs. And then we have to get an appointment with L&I once those are done and get them to accept that, right?
Will the drawings be done before 30 days?
They're scheduled to be done by the 14th, but we got the 4th of July coming up. I got an engineer with staff out. Like, I can't guarantee L&I is going to accept my application when I go down there on day 29, you know? So if they tell me.
I don't mind giving them 45 days. I understand
Okay, all right.
the amount of work that has to be done. This is on its own site. It's isolated.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Okay, or if everybody's fine with it, I'm fine with it. Okay, 45 days.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, good luck.
Can I ask a question? Did this receive any prior violations or do we just realize?
It has not received any prior violations. These just came up last month.
Okay. Good luck, guys.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. We just leave now?
Yeah, you just leave, guys.
Yeah, I'm gonna hang out for the 2. So
Okay. Okay.
Rustin, just stay.
will do.
Okay. What was the decision for the last case? I'm very sorry.
45 days, they'll have the structural engineer and get it. Paperwork in there and they'll have a permit.
They'll have
Apply.
applied for a permit within.
Apply for a
45
permit,
days.
I'm sorry, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, we're all good.
Okay,
So,
Just to bring the board's attention to the next matter, that would have been number 3 on today's list. That was MI 2023-003-017 for 2228 to 2230 Fairmount Avenue. That matter has been rescheduled. They asked for a continuance.
okay, got it. Okay, then the next one would be,
That brings us to number
Rustin's
4
two
and 5.
cases.
Mifflin, yeah, okay,
1324 Mifflin, Building A and Building C.
okay.
So we can move right into that if you're ready, because Rustin's here.
Yes, we certainly will.
Are we gonna
Okay.
wait for John Dimes or?
Yeah,
He should be
Don's
logging
here,
in. He should be logging in.
okay.
Do you want to pause the recording or keep moving?
You can pause the recording on it, we might take a couple of minutes. Okay, all right, let's just start it. I'm Wayne Miller, board member.
Amy Rivera, board member.
Ted Agus, board member.
John Dimes Fire Code.
Deborah Richardson, Boards Administration.
Philip Motto, Boards Administration.
Jay Scaria to pump license and inspections.
Okay, Russ, you're gonna be the only one?
Yep, Rustin Oler applicant.
Okay, please raise your right hand. Swear to tell the truth, all truth, nothing but the truth.
I do.
Okay, Phil, put that into the record, please.
This is case number 4 on today's list, MI 2023-003-141 for the property at 1324 Mifflin Street, Building A.
Okay, go ahead, Rustin.
Is it okay if I ask that we do A and C together?
Yeah,
Okay,
okay.
but it's the same site.
Can I read the second MI in then, Wayne?
Yeah, uh-huh.
This will also include case number 5 on today's list, MI 2023-003-140. This is also for the property at 1324 Mifflin Street, Building C.
Okay, all right, Rustin, go ahead.
All right, and I'll share my screen. These are documents that we haven't uploaded. The primary variance and reason that we're here are windows on a property line. This is an interesting one. This is actually my house, or will be my house. So as you can see on the left here, We're proposing our 3 single-family homes in the middle of the block. There used to be a carriage house here and then a warehouse that occupied 100% of the block, 2-story warehouse. We've demolished the warehouse. We're proposing 3 single-family dwellings. And there is a continuous 4-foot alley, which you can see here, that borders the entire property. And what we're here for today is a variance for windows on the property line here, abutting this alley on the west side. This is building C. And then for windows on both sides here. So on the northern side abutting this alley and the eastern side abutting this alley. And I'll zoom in. So in addition to the 4-foot wide alley that borders the entire property, the surrounding, and there's no windows being proposed at the first floor of building A, only 1 small window at building C. The majority of the windows and openings are at the upper floors. These are R3 structures. In addition to the alley, right? That, you know, we're pretty far away from the neighboring properties. So, you know, 13 feet, 15 feet, 27 feet, 17 feet. And same thing here. So they have additional rear yards, so 7.5 feet. The buildings will be fully sprinklered. We are proposing a sprinkler head centered on each window opening as part of the variance relief request.
You have
And then
elevations?
I do. So we have full, hang on.
And Rustin, are the those walls rated 1 hour or?
Yes, they're all rated 1 hour. Building's fully sprinklered with a 13R system, not a 13D system. So it has a dedicated sprinkler tap as well. And they're rated 1 hour. And then we're proposing a head at center line of each window opening. Let me open the construction drawings, which I'll have.
And which one's your house?
A.
Okay.
Are they all 4 stories?
They're all 4 stories, yes. Sorry, that's just downloading. Give me 1 second. I'll open this up for you. All right, so elevations of the side. So here's overview of plans, right, at each floor. But I'll get into those elevations in question. So this is the side of C. You have a 4-foot alley here at the first floor, then you have neighbors' rear yards, and then 2-story structure, so that there's no structure above the second floor on that side.
Does the percentage of openings meet the requirements, say for like a 5-foot setback?
At a 5-foot setback, yeah, yes, they would be unlimited, so.
Between 5 and 10 feet or whatever.
Yeah, because it's the R3 use, so at 5 feet, it's unlimited.
Oh.
And actually no sprinklers if it was like a detached building, so.
And the alleys are 4 feet.
The alleys are 4 feet, then you have the additional rear yard of the neighbors. And then on the other side, house A, you've just this small bubbled section here, because this is all set back further from the property line. So just this bubbled section here.
Mhm.
These are windows into the stair tower. And then on the front side, I think that's it. Hang on. There should have been one more elevation. Here, up here, just this bubble section at the 3rd and 4th floor. So again, we have the 4-foot alley. We have, I think, 7 and 9-foot rear yards. This is facing Mifflin Street. And then 2-story homes. So again, no openings where there are adjacent structures either.
The one egress well that I could see in the one elevation, the previous one, that's not into the alley, correct? That's into a yard?
It goes into the rear yard.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no egress wells or openings at nothing in the first floor at all.
Okay.
So,
Are these becoming 3 individual sites or is it 3 buildings on one site?
so it's zoned as one site. We've already gone through the planned community process. So it's a PUD, so it's like a townhome development.
right?
So it's 3 homes I'm doing with 2 of my friends. So my friend Andy is in B and my friend Nick is in C. So we bought the lot together and are building 3 homes together.
Okay, and it will remain as one lot?
Yes.
Okay.
It's zoned as 1 lot and will remain as 1 lot.
Is it technically condos or no?
It's
Because you're
no, it's-
not on the
it's-
street.
It's a planned community.
Okay.
So it's like a HOA.
Rustin, where are the fire department connections located?
So the fire department connections will be located for each building on the front here off the driveway. I can show you where that is in a site plan, and then there is all right, so here. So Mifflin Street's down at the bottom here. Immediately across the street from us, there's a fire hydrant. So
Okay.
so within under 100 feet of, like where these houses are. And then on the front of the first floor of each of these, we'll have a separate 13R fire department connection.
Okay.
And then there's a continuous 4-foot alley from that connection that wraps the entire site.
Okay.
So really, in terms of fire department access, it would depend on, dragging hose through the alley to the back of the buildings, if need be.
Yeah, if they needed to, yeah. I mean, the homes are only 48 feet deep. We're open on all sides with the alley. It's clear and maintained. So there's a connection on each house, and there's an additional fire hydrant immediately across the street, like almost right in front of this on the other side of Mifflin Street. So it's far more open and accessible than any other South Philly home lot.
Okay, everybody good with this?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Okay,
There was an additional variance request for House A, if you want to go through it. Which is for not having stair nosings. So, this is the proposed stair that I would like to put in House A, which will end up being my house. I'd like to eliminate the nosing. If you look in the IBC and the IBC code, the point of the nosing is to widen the depth of the tread, so you have more room for stairs. The Philly code allows for 9 1/4 inch treads, and these will already be 10 or 10 1/2 inch treads, so that we would be meeting the intent of the code. So aesthetically, we would like to do this, and we feel that we're meeting the intent of the code by having larger than required code treads.
everybody good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else, Rustin?
That's it. Just want to say thank you guys very much.
Hey, pal. Good
So
deal.
Rustin, are you having custom crippled wood stringers made?
Yep.
Cool.
Thank you, guys.
All right, Rustin, thanks. Good luck.
Have a good day.
All right, pal.
Bye,
Bye.
Rustin. Thank you.
Okay.
We don't have any other,
Stop recording?
And Jackie's ready.
Okay. I'm Wayne Miller, board member.
Amy Rivera, board member.
You're muted, Ted.
Ted,
sorry, Ted Agus, board member.
John Dimes, Fire Code.
Deborah Richardson, Boards Administration.
Philip Motto, Boards Administration.
Jay Scoria, Department of License and Inspections.
okay, I'm gonna swear everybody in individually. When I call your name, please raise your right hand. Renee? Please raise your right hand. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Please respond.
I swear.
Good. If anybody's a lawyer, tell me right now. You don't have to be sworn in. Is any, okay, so Robin, please raise your right hand. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
I do.
Okay. Nancy, please raise your right hand. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Angie, please raise your right hand. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
She's not here.
She's not here? Okay, well, we don't need Angie. All right. Phil, you want to read that into the record?
Yeah, so this is case number 6 on today's list, MI 2023 003 284 for the property located at 2721 Ruth Street. The appellant is Robin Savakul, and she's here in the room today.
Okay, whoever's going to do the case, proceed.
Thank you. Again, this is Nancy Bastian, architect with CBP Architects here in Philadelphia, and we are the architects for this project, Ruth Street Civic House, which will be a new 4-story multifamily housing project of 44 units, 32 1-bedroom units, 12 2-bedroom units, and it's being funded through the low-income housing tax credit program. So this will be affordable housing for New Kensington CDC. So I just wanted to introduce Renee, who will just briefly tell you about New Kensington CDC and this project.
Go ahead.
My name, like she said, is Renee Horst. I work on the real estate development department at New Kensington Community Development Corporation. We have a 35-year history in the Kensington neighborhood around affordable housing development, community development, trauma-informed practices. We are looking to open this Ruth Street Civic House as our third low-income housing tax credit project within the past 15 years, providing 44 units of affordable rental housing, which is desperately needed in the Kensington neighborhood, following the opening of, it's right next door to Oronoka Civic House, which NKCDC opened in 2017, which is 51 units of affordable rental housing. This project will have more deeply affordable units. Most of the units will be, half of the units will be available to those individuals making less than 20% and less than 30% of the area median income. And then the other half will be those making less than 50% and 60% of the area median income.
And
Good.
yes, thanks, Renee. And then Robin is the project architect from CBP Architects, and she'll just explain the relief that we're looking for today.
Yeah, is it possible for me to share my screen so I can show the presentation? Is
Yes,
that
you can.
acceptable? Okay, great. Okay. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay, great. So the first page is just showing where the project is located. As Renee was saying, it's in Kensington, adjacent to the property, which is right here, is our site, is the Oronoka Civic House, currently operated by New Kensington CDC. And then this is Oronoka at the top right, and then this is our site down at the bottom right. And so this is just further elaborating in a site plan showing where the Oronoka Civic House property lies, adjacent to the Ruth Street Civic House. You can see that Ruth Street sits on 3 property lines, to the west, to the north, and to the east. And between the 2 buildings, there will be an easement for a shared driveway entrance that's actually along the east property line of the Ruth Street Civic House. And the easement states Oronoka Civic House or Oronoka Mills LP as the grantor and New Kensington CDC as the grantee. And this is an image of the building coming down Ruth Street and looking at the east facade that we are talking about. So what we're asking relief from is the IBC maximum openings table, table 705.8, where we have a fire separation distance on this east facade of 0 because it's on the property line. But we are hoping that we can put in 9% of that total facade with glazing. And the reason why we are hoping that you'll grant this is because the easement states that the grantor, its heirs, successors, and assigns are prohibited from building on, over, or under the easement, and it is a perpetual easement. So what we're showing here is basically the table 705.8 at the fire separation distance of 0 and the area of the granted easement. And then that was the first floor. This is the second floor. We also have windows there, second through fourth. And then here is hopefully a pretty clear image of our east elevation, which is not code compliant, where the easement lies and the percentage of openings that we are hoping to be able to have on this facade. You can see that the north elevation is compliant. And then the last page we're showing is the west elevation, also on a property line. We're not asking for relief here. We're not proposing any openings on this facade. And then the south elevation, I think has a 30-foot fire separation distance. So we're code compliant there.
Is the construction of that wall 1 hour rated or more?
Yes, the construction, so we are type 5A, 4 stories, fully sprinklered, NFPA 13 sprinklered. And so this wall needs to be rated from both sides 1 hour.
Do we want to ask for sprinkler heads inside every window, or?
Yes, we do.
Yep.
That's,
On the windows on the east, only on the east wall windows.
yeah, where the variance is being recommended.
Right.
Is there an easement agreement?
There is an easement agreement. Yeah, it was recorded on June 6th.
There's a copy of it in the packet.
Yep, there is.
Okay, okay,
Cool.
okay. All right. Anybody have any problem with this?
No, is the commercial first floor? First floor commercial?
No, it's residential.
Okay, why did you guys go with a 13 system?
Over 14?
Our dead end corridors are greater than 20 feet.
Okay.
And we've tried to configure it a number of ways to get the 13R. And just for this type of building, it's often difficult.
Okay, I was just curious.
Okay, fine. All right, everybody's good with it. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you very
Thank you
much.
so
All right,
much.
guys.
Thanks.
All right.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Have a good day now.
See ya.
Okay.
You want to pause or move on?
Let's start doing the markups, okay? And then we'll go into Bainbridge Street. We'll hopefully get the few markups done. All right, Aim?
So at this point, I will pause the recording.
Recording on? Okay, I'm Wayne Miller, board member.
Amy Rivera, board member.
Ed August, board member.
John Diamond's Fire Code.
Deborah Richardson, Boards Administration.
Philip Motto, Boards Administration.
Case Korea, Department of License and Inspections.
Okay, let me swear people in that are not lawyers. Is everybody a lawyer, or who is not a lawyer with you, Ron?
Everyone else.
Okay, so who do we have?
Pete DeLulo.
Okay. All right, Pete, please raise your right hand. Swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth. Respond.
I couldn't hear you, Pete.
Not coming through.
Now I do.
Now we do. Please raise your right hand. Swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth. There you go. Anybody else?
Michael McCluskey.
Mike? Please raise your right hand. Swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth. Respond,
I do.
Mike. Okay. Anybody else?
I think that's it for now,
Okay.
Chairman, unless we need to bring anybody else, we'll swear them in.
Okay. Go ahead, Ron. You want to
Okay, sure.
hold on, before you start, Phil, put that into the record, please.
Yes, sir. This is case 7 on today's list, MI 2023 002-609 for the property located at 419 Bainbridge Street. Ronald Patterson Esquire is the appellant.
All right, Ryan, go ahead.
Thank you. I'll give you a brief rehash, bring us to where we are today, and then we'll get going. So Ron Patterson and Claire Harrison Law Firm, I represent the owner and developer. If I could share my screen.
Sure.
Okay, you can see my screen.
Yes.
So on June 17th, 2022, we filed a building permit application for this project, a 7-story multifamily building. Refusal was issued, as noted here, for the deck being above 75 feet. We filed an appeal to the board on two call issues. One was issue of code interpretation, that respectfully, the examiner incorrectly applied the interpretation of the code. And there was, this FAQ was issued, which we believe didn't carry the weight of law, but just as guidance, along with the grace period that's allowed, that you see in a lot of the code bulletins under the UCC, that if we designed the project before the law had changed, and if we want to call the FAQ law, that we would have a grace period on which to rely upon the design, right? Otherwise, we'd be detrimentally impacted. So we had the hearing before the board, and the board recommended approval on the code interpretation issue. We did raise as in an alternative requesting variance relief. The board recommended approval on the interpretation, as I mentioned. The commissioner reviewed and denied, overturned, or didn't accept the board's recommendation characterizing it. We appealed to common pleas on that issue. My editorial is that as we got into, and Maggie White is here from the law department, and she can explain it as well, that on this issue about the interpretation, my editorial is that if we win that issue, that affects the policy citywide. And so at the court, we asked the court, and the court agreed to remand this case back to the board to consider variance. And again, editorially, if a variance is granted, doesn't set precedent, it's for this case specific, this project specific, not a citywide policy issue. And they retain jurisdiction in case we need to return back to the court for whatever reason that would be, if we want to keep the appeal continuing, which brings us to today. We're back for the second, third hearing on this, but the second on this particular issue. Before I have my witnesses on, I know Maggie, if you wanted to, comment on the procedural setting.
Sure. And good afternoon. I'm Maggie White. I work for the law department, and I am representing the city in this appeal. It was the department's position and the commissioner's position that the FAQ wasn't, setting, it was not law. It was purely a reflection of the interpretation of the department. The department's interpretation is that, the IBC doesn't decide this. It lets the different jurisdictions decide it. The department here has interpreted it as, if the roof deck is occupied space, so therefore the high rise requirements apply here. So that's sort of beside the point. As Mr. Patterson said, that's a legal issue that now the court will decide. But what we all agreed is that if setting aside that, and the board looked at this issue purely as a variance case and assumed for purposes of this hearing that that provision did in fact apply with this particular circumstance here, are there certain variances that the board would approve in its discretion, that may resolve the case, and that may be the best interest of everyone and more efficient. And even if it didn't resolve the case, it would provide a more complete record for the common police court, should we have to return. So that's what, the department and the city are asking, is for purposes of this hearing, the board to assume that provision applies and examine this as a variance case.
Great. Thank you. My first witness would be Pete DeLulo, and just to add on what was testified to at the last hearing.
Yeah, Ron, do you mind not sharing your screen anymore? We have these new.
Oh, sure. Yep, sure.
There we go. Thank you.
Okay. You can see everyone. Hi, Pete. Please tell the board your name.
Yeah, sure. Peter DeLulo, with Elcor, the developer on the project. And I just wanted to share some background from, our perspective and as it relates to this roof deck. We started design in the spring of 2021. We always intended for there to be a roof deck. It's a relatively small lot, not overly amenitized building. The roof deck was going to be a tremendous amenity to the building with great views to the residents, to the neighborhood. It was our intention from the beginning. We were issued a zoning permit in May 2022. I know this isn't a zoning issue, but the zoning permit clearly showed the roof deck, as did the CDR package, et cetera. Bernardin, as we speak about, precedent and whatnot, Bernardin, who is the designer of the project, has designed, not only Bernardin, but multiple other architects and developers, designed projects exactly like this, with the exact same condition throughout the city. And approved, have been built, and are currently getting built. So again, we rely not only on the code, but on the interpretation and the precedent of the code. So we invested, frankly, millions of dollars in pre-development on this project. And our capital providers and our lenders are relying on this as well. It's a key amenity to the project. And it's not like we're just, oh, it would be nice, so we want a variance. We're relying on the code and on precedent. Go a step further. The board of building standards agreed with us, either agrees with us or agreed with us in August of 2022 that no variance is needed, that it does comply with the code. So we're being very much harmed if now there's a change of opinion by license and inspection that doesn't allow this for our project. While there are projects currently getting built, I'm aware of at least two that I know firsthand, one that our builder is building, one that Bernardin designed with this exact same condition. As Ron mentioned, even if the FAQ, which was put out 15 days before we applied for our building permit, even if it carried the weight of changing the code, there was no notification, no grace period. Our design and construction contracts were well in advance of this. So we're taking a project that the neighborhood desires, that our capital and lenders are relying on, that we're relying on as a key amenity of the building, and basically changing the goalposts on us. Our capital comes from California State Teachers Retirement System. We are not in the rules. We are rule followers. But when the goalposts are changed, we can't do our job. So, I'm appealing not on the legal merit, but just on the practical merit of how do we do our jobs if we don't know what the code is? We're relying on not only the key, the interpretation, not only of us, but of key staff members of the IBC who have clearly written on this subject, saying it is not an occupied space. And then you go a step further and say, oh, good. On top of that, the city of Philadelphia has approved this multiple times. That must be their interpretation too. So then we design it that way and we get approvals that way and we spend millions of dollars. So I'm sure you can see from our perspective that this is quite harmful. So, as we look at, I know we met a month ago or whatever it was, and, we're certainly willing to try to make this work for everyone. And there are, many of the provisos that we can live with, limiting the occupancy, horns and strobes, but some of the provisos are just, they're unfeasible, frankly. So again, it puts us just in an untenable situation.
Okay, thank you, Pete. Michael? Mike McCluskey? Thank you.
Hi, Michael McCluskey, registered architect, Vice President Bernardin. I don't have a tremendous amount to add other than what Pete said, right? Pete said everything from my perspective that I feel. December 15th of 2021, 417 Callow Hill Street was permitted by LNI. 498 occupants on the roof of a 5/2 7-story mixed-use building in the city of Philadelphia. We submitted our building permit 365 days ago today, exactly 1 year. And 15 days prior, the FAQ came out. I've stated this before and I'll continue to state it. I don't know how, as a design professional, I am to, recommend to my clients type of products to build within the city of Philadelphia if the rules are inconsistently adhered to within the city. And all of this effort from my company is 100% free of charge. I am defending a process and a design, and we're not getting paid a dime for any of this, right? We that's what we have to do because we have to secure a building permit. And I don't understand, we're rule followers too, but I just don't understand how you can set a precedence through action of approval on other designs that are exactly the same and then just change the set of rules months later without appropriate action, and that is through some sort of change to the building code or true change to the interpretation, not just an FAQ. So
and just to be clear, you designed well in advance of this FAQ being issued, even if it had the force of law.
Yes, as Pete stated, we worked on this project for about 16 months, and our building permit drawings were submitted on June 22nd, 2022. And I believe the FAQ came out 15 days prior to us submitting for building permit.
Thank you. I know at the last hearing, the board was discussing some provisos. None were officially issued, but we're equipped to talk about them again today if the board wants to have discussions on them.
Sure. Yeah, you give us that. Was there 5 of those, Ron? 5 provisos?
I believe so, yes.
Do we have them in what they are?
Before we address that, Wayne, just a question for Maggie, just to clarify. My understanding from what you said before is that we are to look at this with the assumption that not making a determination on it, but with the assumption that the provisions of that would not allow this, or the provisions of the answer to the FAQ are in effect, and to consider what provisos we might want in order to recommend a variance to the commissioner at this point. And that's essentially the way that assuming I'm not getting that wrong, that's the way we understood it a month ago or whenever we last all talked.
Yes.
Yeah. So at that point, we looked at this and said, okay, we are looking for a path to recommending a variance. And we look at a path that we, in our role, consider to be looking for consideration to life safety. What is a safe condition?
Mm-hmm.
And we depend, as we always have, on input from the fire department, from LNI, to assist our own perspective on this. We also took into account, just as global perspective, and I certainly understand the frustration with the perception of a changing goalposts, but the 2024 code, which has not been adopted by the city, has made a clear determination of what constitutes a high rise and what does not.
Right.
And with respect to that, it's clearly at this point, this would not be allowed in the, any jurisdiction that has adopted 2024 IBC. So we said, okay, that's looking ahead, but we want to be fair, especially given the circumstances. So we looked to our expert, advisors, and specifically with the fire department. And Lieutenant Dimes, please don't, or please correct me if I'm wrong, but one of the things we wanted to understand was in the event that people needed to be evacuated from the roof, could that be effectively done with ladders or whatever? And the determination, the understanding that we received then was that no, that really wouldn't be practical. It just exceeds the ability to do that. So we looked at, okay, how do you get people down safely out of the building? How do you limit the number of people that might might be affected? What is the condition on the roof that might be as safe as possible? At the end of the day, we want you to have your roof deck. We want it to be as safe as possible. And we're here to collectively determine what's the best way to do that. And I think there's several of the things that we talked about then that you were amenable to when we talked that day. Hopefully you're still amenable to those things. And the things that you still have an issue with, let's talk about them.
I have, Debbie, I have the email that you sent me. Is that okay to put on the screen?
Sure. The email that I sent you with the provisors.
Yes.
Yes.
Ted, I just want to add, while I understand.
Do I need to send that?
No, I have it.
Okay. You can share it if you like.
Pete, you wanted to say something?
Okay.
I understand that you're saying you're now looking at it as though it's truly a variance and as if 2024 was adopted, but of course we know it's not. Look, the reality is we wouldn't be here for a variance if 2024 was adopted. We never would have designed this if 2024 was adopted. So I understand the premise, but the premise is somewhat, I would just ask you that in August of 2022, you all agreed that we complied.
Well, and I think we addressed that last time, Pete. What we said then and what I think we all feel today, if we had known of the existence of the FAQ response in August when this came to us the first time, we would have said, okay, given that, let's consider what provisos we'd look for in order to recommend a variance. We would have been exactly where we are today. Sorry, I can't hear you. Pete, we can't hear you. Sorry.
I'll weigh in. You did know that, Ted, because Jace referenced them in his letter.
Sorry, who's speaking? So
Michael McCluskey. We discussed this in the hearing.
It was referenced as an FAQ. We did not understand what an FAQ was and what the department considered an FAQ to be. Regardless of what anybody is saying, the department's stance was that it has the weight of a code bulletin and it's effectively, part of the code. I understand what you're saying about 15 days before and all of that. We're not disputing. All that we're saying is, if we had been given the information at that point, we would have been looking for and recommending what variances or what provisos might be required in order to recommend a variance. And I apologize for that. However, I believe that was, the department, we only make recommendations to the commissioner. And as I believe I said a month ago, we depend the department when the commissioner makes a decision, he brings to bear whatever recommendations we may have made, but also what other elements that we are not made privy to. And I think there was a discussion at that point. And at that point, there was a rejection of the appeal. We, in fact, it's a shame because we would have been talking about provisos and trying to look for a path to a recommendation for a variance, and we wouldn't be sitting here a year later. But that all happened. And it was, honestly, I mean, I will say, and I'm a design professional. I did not know about what that FAQ response meant and how the department considered it. I only, if in talking about it, knew about, FAQs that when I had submitted on a project on a JOT form asking for a response to something, kind of what came back. I never would have considered that to be, that's just guidance. It's not, a definitive answer. So we apologize for everything you've gone through. However, at this point, I want to reiterate, we're here to try to find a safe resolution that we can recommend.
And the only thing I'd add is, just to be clear, 2024 is an unpublished document at this point. Correct?
I'm not aware of that. I don't know.
It is not being issued into the fall of 2023. So you are referencing an unpublished document that, as far as I'm concerned, is hearsay. Well, it is. I can't tell you it's not published. I don't have it. Do you have it? So what are you referencing?
My understanding.
Your understand it's not published. We don't know.
Hold on.
Let me just answer what you're saying there. I mean, my understanding is that that's what it will contain or does contain. I don't know you. And all I'm saying is, if in fact that's the case, then we would assume that that's a considered, decision of that entity of the IBC to how things should be handled going forward. And that the assumption is that they consider this to be an unsafe condition going forward, and that that's the way the code should be written.
But
So
the 2018 code that we're following in the commentary, as we wrote in our letter response back last year, very clearly states, the commentary clearly states how this is to be interpreted. Not the 2024 code. I can read it to you again, or you can take our letter. The code that we're all working under, the rules that are being created here that we all have to follow, not some phantom thing that's happening in the future that we guess about. The actual code we are interpreting and the commentary state. If I would love, we talked about effectively the amenity deck is not its own story, but an extension of the 7th floor amenity space below. That is from the commentary, the IBC 2008. I can read you all of those provisions. That is from the commentary and that is from the IBC. I don't understand how we're going to go to the future to talk about something that we're interpreting now. I'm struggling with it.
We bring it up in terms of the context of trying to determine, is this safe or is it not safe? And
But the IBC states it's already safe because they tell you how to interpret it. They wrote this code. And whoever was bringing that up, that's the 2015. That was the interpretation. What I'm referencing is the actual commentary from the 2018 code.
What is it? What's the commentary? Let's hear it.
It's in the letter that we issued. I don't, Christy, do you have the letter, the formal? I can read it. I don't know if it'd be
Read
better
it.
to bring it up on the screen.
Read it.
All right. The ICC
again, let me just say, what I asked Maggie before is, we're supposed to, the only reason we are hearing this again is under the context that we are to assume that this is not permitted and that we are considering a variance. We are not here to debate whether this, what the code said then, what it says now, what it will say in the future. That's irrelevant.
I believe what Maggie stated was, we are to proceed with the expectation that the FAQ does not exist. And the FAQ did not exist, and we got building permits on this exact same building. So if this FAQ didn't exist, we should have gotten a permit a year ago.
So just to clarify, And you can choose not to do this. I mean, that's certainly up to you, but your appeal challenging the department's interpretation of, the building code and the fact that this FAQ represents that interpretation, that is all preserved, that is still live. You can still go forward and challenge that in court. Nothing here is stopping that. The sole purpose of this is to say, if the city if we end up prevailing on that legal issue, to allow not to have to come back here 2 years from now and not to have the court then just remand it back, but then to allow to move forward if this board were to grant you variances. So if you don't want to do that, you don't have to, but that is what we're here for. And the idea is that hopefully it'll make this more efficient than it certainly has been. So it's completely up to you. If you don't want to do that, that's your right. And your challenge is still preserved and we can go, straight to court. But I think for everyone, and certainly for this project, this is an opportunity to move more efficiently than we have so far.
So,
And to go forward.
so in the alternative, let's say, in the alternative, we could consider a variance and provisos. If we choose not to accept them, then we're back in common pleas. So
absolutely,
I think that's really where we are at. Let's look at the provisos, and if they're acceptable, fine. If not, then we can choose to go back to common pleas.
Yeah, and Ron, if you guys can hear me, I appreciate that. And Ted, all I was trying to say is request that the board keep in mind
How we got here. Yeah.
and the code and your opinion in August of 2020. All I'm asking is that you keep that in mind as you.
Okay,
Someone have the provisos that they want to, Ron?
yeah, I think Ron said he had them. Bring them up, Ron.
Can you see them?
Yeah, it's.
And happy to speak on these. If my speaker goes out, just.
Yeah, we can hear you right now.
Okay. Is there anything that's not an issue out of those 5 provisos? What issues do you have with them? If it's 1, 2, or something like that, can you bring them up and tell us?
Absolutely, and I appreciate that. On number 1, largely we can make this work. The reality is, it's basically impossible to find non-combustible couch cushions. So if you had a roof deck and someone wants to sit on the couch, so we would look for some kind of leniency there in terms of pavers and whatnot. We can do that. We will do that. But, furniture is getting a little bit, otherwise it would be like, metal park benches up there. So that there's, largely we can comply. Deck furniture is starting to get a little bit kind of impossible to adhere to. Number 2, we think barbecue grills are, a massive amenity. People want to cook a steak. It's hard to do in their unit. It's a tight lot. There's not really places to do it on the ground floor. We frankly thought electric barbecue grills, people have them throughout. They're big thing happening from that is probably pretty minute. We would ask at a minimum that you be allowed electric barbecue grills for use of the residents as an amenity. I'm going to skip number 3. Number 4, no problem. Number 5, no problem. Did I go out? You still have me? Okay. Number 3 is the challenge. I'll tell you what we can do, and again, to make this work. What we can do is pressurize the shaft, pressurize the stair towers. We can pressurize the smoke, the elevator shafts. We can do that, which I think is the lion's share of making these exits as safe as possible. The challenge when we go to full high-rise requirement, that's rather broad, frankly, is the backup power. It's wildly hard to get a generator. It's basically not feasible to get a standby or backup power. It's a ripple effect of things that it causes. The only thing I'd say on that point is, yes, you have the issue of, well, if you lose electric, then what good is the pressurization? It is widely documented, throughout the city of Philadelphia, even as it relates to fire pumps in mid-rise buildings. I'm looking specifically at a code interpretation as it relates to standby power for electric fire pumps, and I'll just read a short section from that. Eco Energy is more reliable than infrequently used generators that rely on the diligence of maintenance and service personnel to keep in proper running condition. Basically, the bulletin speaks to the stability of the Pico grid in the city of Philadelphia. So, like I said, we're trying to meet you on these. We're only saying no, not because we don't want to. We're saying no, we can't. Like I said, we can pressurize, but that's all we can do.
John, are you okay? I mean, your reaction in terms of deck furniture and all that, I mean, I think we've talked about it ourselves.
There's things have material stuff that, are sprayed with, or like when we do, there's concerts and pyro and flame effects where they're treated with some kind of fire resistant material stuff like that. That may be a reasonable accommodation. It's not bedrock. You can't put steel or whatever furniture up there. But like I said, as far as the material, if it's any type of cloth or anything like that, there are certifications you can do to help prevent fire spread.
There's not going to be that much furniture up there. It's not that big of a deck. I just can't imagine the cushion's going to be the real problem for safety. But
Any other issues with anything? Does anybody have, before we go into our caucus room? Does anybody have anything? If you do, say it.
Wayne, I think I'd like John to kind of weigh in on number 3 as well, just his reaction. I mean, we hear what's being said, and certainly the pressurization accomplishes a lot. Is there anything beyond that, John, that
read number 3 to me, because I'm having trouble seeing it from my screen.
Okay.
Says the stair towers and elevator shafts shall meet the high-rise requirements for smoke evacuate or smoke enclosures.
Okay, so they're saying the only thing they can do is pressurization. What would be the other thing be required in a high-rise building?
Well, they're saying backup power would be required for that, but they can't provide that.
That's not attainable, Robert. That does, yeah, it would be too tough. Backup power for the pressurization, or backup? Is that what they're saying?
Backup for the fans.
Okay. So that would be an accommodation or a variance that you wouldn't have to have backup power. Is that accurate?
We're just asking to have the electric be deemed as a reliable source of power.
Instead of
in the
Pico,
event.
yeah, I got you. All right, yeah, I won't have a problem with that.
Okay.
and on number 2, John, with electric grills, I mean, I guess you're proposing that there be no gas, but electric and
No propane, just electric would be fine.
I would be that.
You said you're okay with that? Sorry.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm sorry, did you talk about the fire command center or anything like that, or that was discussed previously?
Yeah, I mean, there are other triggers, right? The fire command center based on a deck. I mean, to me, it's not a vital function. I mean, it's obviously it's in the code. Once it hits a high rise, you need a 200 square foot room on the first floor near. But I don't know if it's a vital safety function based on having a roof deck or not. So though it is in the code and it is a high rise trigger, I I mean, that would be up to the board, but I don't consider that feature of the high rise actually life safety, if you know what I'm saying.
And I just want to let the board know, if you're stating that no standby power is required, that needs to be referenced as a proviso. Because if the applicant decides to go for electrical permit, electrical examiners are gonna call that out. And they're gonna have to go back to the board. So to save them a trip, it should be referenced as a proviso.
And Joyce, I appreciate that. We can share language. We've tried to come up with language as it relates to number 3. I'll read it to you. The stair towers and elevator shafts will be pressurized to comply with section 909.20.5 and 909.21.1 of the 2018 International Building Code respectively. Standby power is not currently available within the building and therefore will not be provided. That was.
Yeah. I was just stating to the board to reference that as a proviso, so you don't get hung up when it comes as when they do electrical reviews.
All right, that would be in the proviso, so then it would, alleviate that concern you raised.
Anything else?
Mr. Chair, this is Hillary. One of the other provisos that is on here had to do with a limited occupancy of 125 people. Could the applicant speak to whether they're in agreement with that proviso or not?
They said they were okay with 4.
They said no problem.
Okay, thank you.
I still want to go into the caucus room with Ted and Amy. Can you please put us in there, Deb?
We got to do it ourselves.
Do it ourselves? Okay. Okay. Hold on.
Where are you, Wayne?
I have to move up to the, don't worry about it, this room's too
Okay.
big. Okay? I need a smaller room. Okay,
We're back on the record.
we're back on the record. Ryan, could you put those 5 provisos up, please?
Sure.
I'm gonna be off the screen, I'm just moving up to read the provisos, okay? 4 and 5, we agreed to, okay? 125 people and homes, the horns and strobes. On number 1, no combustible materials on the roof deck. If you could get some flame retardant cushions, I'm sure you can get a spray to put on them and bring them in. The electric grill's fine with us, okay? And could we have your language for number 3? Do you have that?
Email that to Debbie Richardson, that would be very
Yes, if
helpful.
you could if you could, and we'll accept that.
Okay.
Okay.
And if you could do it soon, so we can write it into the.
We'll do it immediately.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mike, just to be sure, Mike, any issue with, I'm sure there is, even if it's just a spray, Mike, I'm sure that's
I'm not worried about that. The furniture can't meet non-combustible. We can certainly get it with the fire retardant sprays and everything. That's no problem. We just couldn't get to.
Okay, good. Okay, if we can have that language, and then, am I missing anything, Amy or Ted?
No, but I want to go back to Michael. When you say the furniture, are you still talking about the cushions? Or are you talking about, like, you can't have aluminum or metal furniture of any kind?
We were specifically saying the non-combustible, in your original proviso, it said non-combustible. Even though it is fire retardant sprays, they are not considered not combustible.
What kind of furniture are you thinking? I
it
just
would
assumed we would.
metal. I would assume metal frame structure of some sort, probably aluminum or steel. The cushions are the concern. We will be certainly able to get something with a spray on it, but it is not considered non-combustible. I'm just
Okay,
telling
no,
you.
that's fine.
Yeah, there's a difference between flame retardant and non-combustible.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Got it. Yep.
You want us
Okay.
As it relates to that, or are you guys comfortable with writing that language for number one?
We can write that language.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for everyone's time. We will, and your consideration, we will send that language.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, I just had a quick question. Was a proviso needed in reference to what it was, the fire command center?
Oh, yeah, we're giving a variance on the fire command center.
Well, when we see their language, I mean, you know, it was only the high-rise code requirements that included that. So we'll see what they list on number 3, and we do want to make sure that whatever the language is clear, as Jace was saying, about
Standby power.
the standby power, yeah.
Yeah.
Huge references.
Yeah, make reference that it won't be required. We
And I
will.
believe that was in Pete's statement. That's, you said the IVC code
I'll read it again
clauses, and you said standby power will not be provided, so we would say,
one more time, just so you guys know what's coming.
Okay.
Towers and elevator shafts will be pressurized to comply with section 909.20.5 and 909.21.1 of the 2018 International Building Code, respectively. Standby power is not currently available within the building and therefore will not be provided.
Cool.
okay.
Okay. All right.
Everyone for your time.
Okay, guys, good luck.
Thank you.
All right. Okay.
Thank you.
Oh. Maggie, are you still there for a second?
Yes.
Thank you for being here. I mean, honestly, this it was helpful.
Oh, I'm sorry I wasn't here last time. I thought it would not be helpful, so I wasn't here, and I would have come if so I'm glad that I came, and I appreciate your time.